So Mac, when I came to you and said that I wanted to do the Butch Monologues, what was your initial reaction to it? Feeling about it?
I just got excited, to be honest. Especially having been a tomboy all of my life, and then in this last few years with all discussion around gender fluidity and non-binary identity, I felt like you couldn't say the word tomboy anymore without a bit of flack. And I'd always identified as a butch. I think it's important to talk about the process, because actually we're working with people who aren't necessarily performers.
Yep.
And some of the times I've most enjoyed have been the one-to-one prep sessions, which actually is all about breathing and building somebody's confidence and allowing them to trust the work, to trust that story, the testimony. Everyone's looking out for each other on stage.
Yeah, that's really key to its success, I think, actually, that sense.
Yeah. There's a great mischief in there, which I think is wonderful.
Yeah. And a sense of care, I think that's the word you used, that feeling that if something goes wrong or somebody drops a note, someone else will pick it up.
Exactly.
It will kind of stay in the air.
I don't like to big you up too much, but I think you've done a beautiful job of the way you've edited that collection of stories, the way you've held faithfully to each of those gifts of the stories the tellers have given you.
And the voices, to keep the voices in. Yeah.
What's your favourite story?
I've got so many that I love. I like... there's a longer one that I like, Vietnam Vet. I like that story. And I love Taco Bell, which was the first story that I took from a younger contributor, from a 21-year-old. And that, because that hits on mental health stuff, on attempted suicide, and it feels very regional to that part of the States. But I love it because it's a younger voice coming through, and I struggled for a while to get the younger ones in. And we got the butch grandmother in, we got a 70-year-old, and then we got majority of the testimonies that I took were sort of 40, 50-year-olds. And to get a 21-year-old who defines as butch, for me, was just knockout. So I think Taco Bell probably over Vietnam Vet, actually.
And I love the whole hog.
I love the whole hog as well.
I think it's brilliant.
That is genius. Short, but just...
I would say Spunk Fantasies.
Yeah.
And
is your favourite? Yeah. One of your favourites?
One of my favourites.
And I remember when I took the first abuse story, which is the only explicit abuse story that we have in the collection. I wrote it up for the contributor, and I was very mindful about how I wrote it up in verbatim style. And I then bounced it back to that contributor, and I was expecting that contributor then, after a number of days, to say, I'm not sure whether I want that going into the world. And they stood by the story and wanted the story in, and I thought that was just, for me, that was just mind-blowing. Any more hopes or dreams, desires for the Butch Monologues?
When we get out to Australia, I can't wait to see what happens with the new model we're working with workshops, locally, collecting local voices, and then having that freshness of a new readership out there, but also new presenters on stage. Do you know what I mean? That'll be wonderful. Looking forward, bro. Do come again.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, lovely to have you.
Yeah, thank you. Cheers. What are you doing now?
Spoken for, mate.